business?
Okay. My name is Wilfred Gooch. A lot of people call me Will.
Get me straight.
No, I'm just.
I got to act like I don't know you.
Because people have called me William, Wilfred, Wilma, and I just like, just call me Will. So you did fine.
Okay.
Okay. But born and raised here in Grand Rapids. Grew up at 1029 Sheldon. Always had a knack for understanding how things are made, how things are done.
Okay.
But didn't know how to get there. And let me just go into a small story real quick. This is to the parents. When your kids, sometimes they tell you things, but they don't have the knowledge to really be able to define what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So when I was a kid, I used to see these guys in white suits with cars going around the racetrack.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, I want to do that for a living when I get older. So I had a social worker, a counselor at school, ask me what I want to do. I said, well, I want to be a mechanic. Because that's what I thought that was.
Okay.
And he said, oh, you want to be a grease monkey. And so I said, well, does grease monkey work on cars and stuff? He said, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So then I went around telling people I want to be a grease monkey. Didn't even know what that was.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So when I got older, I realized the mechanic wasn't what I wanted to do. The guys in the white coats were engineers.
Okay.
And that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't know that was an engineer. I just knew that you were men in white lab coats working with cars.
Wow.
And so somebody said, oh, grease monkey. So for parents, kind of look at your kids, study up as to what they really want to get into, and then help them define what that career goal is. And that would help them out. So.
And when you, as I was sitting here listening to you say that, what that made me think of is that parents should start paying closer attention.
Very much so, to their children.
Yeah,
yes.
What their likes,
right,
dislikes, what they're drawn to. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I have a daughter, 3 years old. We have 3 kids, Tammy and myself, 2 older ones, and then our little one came along. And so people are calling us Abraham and Sarah because we're older, but we have a 3-year-old.
She's almost seasoned now.
Seasoned, yeah, but she's a joy. But we watch her and we study her. And one of the things that she loves is Doc McStuffins.
Really?
Yeah, the doctor, the toy doctor.
Yes.
So we got her a Doc McStuffins kit, and so she goes around. She'll take, you try to get readings on my heart. She'll have her little stethoscope, Daddy, let me, and she make the eye contact. She'll be looking up in the air like she's really hearing something, you know.
Yeah.
So we look at that. So we try to develop that in her, or wherever she wants to go. We try to, we pay attention to what her bent is towards, and that's what parents need to be doing.
I love that you said that. So that takes me into this next question that I want to ask you. Now, I know that you are originally from Grand Rapids, born and raised here.
That's right.
So, you are this phenomenal black man in business here, engineering, STEM. I want to ask you, when you were coming up as a little boy, teenager man, what was that area of concern that began to garner your attention, where you were like, this right here is not right?
You mean as far as
coming up as a young black man?
What I would do is this comes back to church and everything like that. It seems like every time we needed to have something done or whatever, we'd have to go to other people to get things done. Okay. So therefore, I didn't want to live like that. I think my mom used to always tell me, if that guy can do it, you can do it too. And when she used to say, if the white man can do it, you can do it.
That's right.
Not a racial thing, but just saying that she's building my brain to say that you can do whatever it is you put your mind to.
So don't limit yourself.
So don't limit yourself. So I didn't want to just limit myself to, janitor or whatever. And nothing wrong with those professions. Mm-hmm. But I wanted something better than that for me, because I had desire to do those things that I saw those guys on TV and people I read about do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see, and that's what drives my passion today, because I think that so many young black people are missing out on a lot of opportunities in the area of manufacturing, engineering, and science. Mm-hmm. I hate to ruin anybody's bubble, but when I taught at the college here, I see a lot of our black kids and things going into social justice, going into psychology, and nothing wrong with those professions, but I see that there's oversaturated.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I got some black students into my class,
Okay.
and one of them told me, he said, you know, Professor Gooch, I didn't know that I could do this, but when I saw you, that
Oh
let
my
me know
God.
that there was hope for me.
That's
Now,
huge.
I didn't even ask for that. I'm just looking at this guy. He said, that's why I did it. And I remember when I used to teach down here, you know, you had the big window in front of your class. People would stop and stare because I'm in the front pointing to the board in the
Yes.
engineering department.
Yes.
And they're like, you know,
Who is
and
that?
exactly. And a lot of those kids would take my class. My class would always be full.
Now, see, I love that you just shared that, and so I want to go here with you in these next few minutes. You have a strong engineering background, STEM. You were the only one for a moment. Let's talk about that. Why should our young black men, young black women begin to think about entertaining a career as an engineer or somebody in the tech world?
I can tell you a couple of things. Number one, they need you.
Okay.
They are looking hard for technical-minded people, especially young people, where they can get them in, train them to be engineers. And I can tell you, when I got into this degree or this career field, I've been a designer for a pump company. I was a pump engineer. I did medical cabinets for medical equipment. I did that engineering. I was an engineering manager for animal processing equipment
Wow.
plant. I was an aviation engineer just recently down at Battle Creek. I worked there for a year and a half. And now I'm into automation, which is robots, which is, you know, and I'm going to tell
The
you.
artificial intelligence?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you guys something right now. This is why it's most important that black people understand where you need to be going, because we are building machines to replace human effort.
Yes, I've been
So,
reading articles around
big
this.
time. Right now, they have factories in the United States right now that have no lights in them. And people say, well, why
Whoa.
is that? Because robots don't need lights.
Oh,
So
whoa.
they flip the switch, and the robots, they stack things. They take them because they're reading code. They're reading, you know, what they see. They don't need lights. But they need people to program these robots. They need people to come in and know how to fix them and know what's going wrong. So that's what I'm saying is where we're going. And everything that you can do, trust me, somebody's trying to automate that.
Wow.
Like if you go to a bank, I just went recently to Chase in one of my banks. This big, huge machine up there. I'm like, what is this? Oh, this is our new teller.
Oh.
So they got two people over here. We used to have four, and they got this teller. And nobody wants to go to this automated thing, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to walk in there, and you're going to see three of these things or two of these things, because there ain't going to be a human person up there.
You know, it's something that you're saying that because I know we're moving closer and closer to removing the element of a human being out of a lot of these various jobs. And so what you're saying right now, you're just shedding light.
I'm trying to get you to think in the future, because what was in the past, you know, we had the big GM jobs.
Yes.
Everybody was getting that. Those days are done.
Wow.
Manufacturers never coming back like that no more.
Oh my God.
So it's all about automation. I mean, if you're a company, you want to be more streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to pay a guy for sick time or whatever. If you got a machine that could do
Yeah.
24/7, that's
real.
what you're going to go for.
Okay.
So be that person that knows how to operate that machine, that knows how to program it and fix it. That's where you want to go.
Wow, that's good information. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just turning on Magic 104.9, this is your host of In Life Now Radio, Toresa M. Blakely. We're in the Men Making Moves Week, and the voice that you hear speaking all of this truth is none other than Grand Rapids' own Wil Gooch, who is a mechanical engineer. He's a professor. Full of so much wisdom.
I can tell you some stories.
The husband of a phenomenal woman here in the city, Tamara Gooch. Oh my God, engineering, tech, artificial intelligence. That's where we're going.
That's where we're going. And it's not as hard as people think it is. You got math, you're going to do physics, which I love physics. You're going to use science. But if somebody can tell you the practical application of that, if you know that, you know, that chair requires to be strong enough to, say, sustain a 300-pound man,
Yes.
then you would calculate that and go, oh, okay, then I need to have this. I got material properties that do this. now that chair can withstand it. When you understand what you're doing, you know, sometimes we just get the math and don't understand how to apply it.
Yes.
But if someone shows you how to apply what you're doing, then that makes engineering a lot easier.
Now, you know, before we went on the air, you were telling me, and I want you to go here for a moment, but you were telling me that engineers, through their work, they tell you how to do everything.
Yeah, that came along. I have frat brothers. You know, Alpha Phi Alpha is the fraternity I'm a member of. So they used to always tease me about, well, who wants to be a stinking engineer? So I came back at them, which is the truth. I said, engineers run the world. I said, we tell you how to drive. We tell you what to drive. We tell you what gas to put in it. We tell you how to wear your clothes. We tell you what shoes to put on. We tell you what house to be in, because architects are engineers. So they build the house. They tell you what kind of heater. They tell you about your furnace. Everything that you have has been designed. By an engineer. People don't understand it. Like I said, even your kids' toys have been designed for safety, durability, because, you know, kids are rough on stuff.
Yes.
So we put all that into it. Okay? Not having them at a certain age choke on the item, so we make it extra big so it don't go down.
That's an engineer.
That's an engineer. All that stuff is the equipment that you're using has been done by engineers. The iPhones?
Yes.
That was Star Trek stuff back in my day. Now look at where we're at. You know, engineers have done that. So we pretty much run things.
You're running the world. An engineer.
Yep. As a big whole, you know, as engineering as a whole, we do.
So talk to me for a minute about these initials, or the letters STEM. What does that stand for?
That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because I keep running into a friend of mine. Her name is Kelly Christopher.
Yes,
and
Kelly.
She big advocate on STEM engineering and STEM programs for kids. And every time we talk about funding. She needs some funds because she has a great vision. I want to, you know, continue to work with her and help her get this thing off the ground. Our schedules conflict, you know, but it's very important. I think at one time Creston had a STEM program and they closed the school down, so that kind of went out the way. But we need to have those kind of programs in our city schools. Okay. You know, so that young black youth can be exposed to engineering and manufacturing. Okay. One guy I talked to, he's a white gentleman, and I say that because I don't want people to think that it's you know, you're racially being, you know, left out. Okay. He said what they do is they have kids come into his factory, and any kid that just stops at one of the stations or whatever and starts looking at things and doing this type of they say they flag that kid. Wow. Because they're saying that guy has the mind of an engineer. Really? So they try to track all these kids that come through there. The ones that just walk past, okay, that's fine. But the ones that really take an interest in what's going on, they're looking at that kid because they want him. I don't care what color you are, what gender you are. If you have the mind to do that, they want you. They want you. They want you. Wow. Period. I love that. Now, you know, being that you have had major success in this field, how do you believe your life as an engineer has a direct connection back to, you know, that thing that you were paying attention to when you were coming up? Well, you know, I was recently at a men's conference at Messiah Baptist Church, and a lot of people were asking questions about, you know, our youth and the future and whatnot. And there's two guys, and I think one's name is Jelks, and I can't remember the other guy. Jonathan Jelks? Jonathan Jelks. AJ? And they're working with kids on learning them how to do code. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so coding, and so I get up and we talk coding, and I tell them that our parents need to be pushing our kids toward that area because that is the future. Mm-hmm. And so by doing that and getting our kids exposed to engineering, and then most importantly, having our kids seeing other black men in talk engineering, about that. Then that's what's going to push them to say, hey, I can do this too. Yes. Because right now, even before I got into engineering, I had no examples. I had none, period. I didn't know who was an engineer. I just, you know, looked at what I saw on TV, and I didn't see me. You didn't see me? I didn't see me, but I was determined that that's what I want to do. Wow.
Wow. Being that you are so passionate